Hello and welcome back to our channel, How We Move the Decimal. In today's video, I am doing part 3 of listing cards. I got this in a large box of around 70 decks of cards at a local auction who was having an online auction. I have not gone back and done any in-person auctions. My husband has done 2. My father-in-law has done a bunch. I've done online auctions. I have nothing against in-person auctions. I will say, being a female at an in-person auction, a lot of times I get, I don't want to say ignored, but I'm not as tall as my male counterparts. I'm not short by any means, but I am steadfastly average. And if I'm going against males with higher arm reach and stuff, I have to usually try to get in the first 3 rows at the auction, and the only in-person auctions we do are outside, standing room only. I don't go inside and sit and bid on that stuff. That is the higher items. That's bougie. That's too classy for me. I go inside, or I stay outside and do the rack wagons and stuff where they're like, this whole box or this whole rack. We've bought whole rack wagons before for like $5. So I'll go out and do that stuff. And it also, unfortunately, like I said in my previous video, I'm recording this on October 11th, and we have pretty much seasoned ourselves out of garage sale season, weathered ourselves out, and it got down into 30s. It got freezing over the weekend. And like I said, a lot of the auctions I go to are the outside, larger, bulkier items, selling on rack wagons, buying lots of instead of buying one individual item. As you see here, I'm going through all of these decks of cards that are opened to make sure they have all the cards. So I'm hoping to continue to do online auctions over the winter to kind of bulk up my inventory. I know people are like, don't have, and these are pinochle cards also, so there's 2 aces, 2 nines, 2 tens, 2 jacks, 2 queens, and 2 kings. This is not a standard deck of cards. If you're not familiar with it, just look it up. Go look up the cards. What's it supposed to have in the deck? And very prominently, I put it in my title. I put it in my description. I even put it in the condition when asked that these are pinochle cards. These are not standard cards. These are, this is not a full deck. This is a pinochle card. So all my buyers are fully aware. I did the exact same thing with the bridge size cards. I don't want negative feedback because the buyer didn't understand that these are pinochle cards. These are not poker cards. And I do think it's even one of the item specifics. And I'm going to talk about that in another video. I made a couple of videos of me listing greeting cards recently. And I unfortunately just got the full brand new updated listings. I skipped one update because I chose to use the old listing options, but now I just went to list, and oh my gosh, it's awful. It is awful. I bet it's better on the app, but I don't list from the app. I may photograph from the app, but I don't list from the app. I go on my computer and I list everything just because for me, it's so much faster. I have a Word document with all of the titles and descriptions in it. I can just cut and paste. I can work quite quickly through it. I hate listing on my app. I don't know if I'm a Luddite. I don't know what's going on, but not a fan of the app, not a fan of listing off my cell phones. I have students do their entire classwork on their phones. More power to them. I can't. I'm currently enrolled in an accreditation course, and I've tried to do a couple of things on my phone and pick up line. I just cannot do it. So unfortunately, when I went to list a couple of things on eBay, they were in the brand new app format, and I'm really not a fan. I'm not a fan because I'm clicking multiple times where I could just scroll down and enter everything. And now I'm having to click edit. I'm having to click and then add things and find things. And even finding the category that I want to list something in is not pleasant anymore. So Not a fan. I'm sure I'll be faster once I get used to it, but it took me 13 minutes to list 3 items last night when I was walking through and relisting or listing them, and it would have taken longer if I had not already done like a multiple listing, so some categories were already filled in. But also be aware if you had drafts saved, some of my information was gone, like custom SKU was no longer there where I had put it in. So I had to go through and recheck everything, add specific terms and stuff that were specific to that item. Even if they were all in the same category, I did have several things I needed to tweak on the listings, even after doing a multiple listing, but a lot of them had changed. Free shipping was an option, which I never do free shipping. I always do calculated shipping because shipping prices have been so bizarre lately, up and down and everywhere, that I prefer just to do calculated shipping, so I'm not having to go through and readjust all my prices to account for shipping increases. Plus, be aware about holiday shipping increases, especially around this time of year. We have hit fourth quarter. We're officially 11 days into fourth quarter. I have not noticed a really huge change. I did notice that my sales went down when I stopped listing for a couple weeks because everybody was sick with everything and we had so much going on. Right now we are ramping down. We are on the decline of our fall sports seasons, fall activities with my kids. Several of my kids' activities just ended this week, which is nice. Unfortunately, we have parent-teacher conferences this week, so that's always very, very stressful. Anybody that has children can understand how stressful parent-teacher conferences are, especially when our smallest is just, we don't know. We don't know what we expect from the teachers, love her or hate her. That's the two things. So those are coming up in the next 2 weeks. We will be camping for a scouting event, and I will say that I have put 2-day shipping and handling on all of my listings anyway because of gas. And I think I said it in a recent-ish video that when gas prices went up, I adjusted my, instead of same day or next day shipping, to 2 days. That way I am incredibly close to a post office when I'm at my one job that's a couple times a week. So I prefer to ship on those days. I prefer that post office. I think if you live in a big enough town that has multiple post offices, you probably have a favorite. We have 3 post offices that are fairly close to us, and I definitely have a favorite. I have a second favorite, and I have one that I won't go to unless the other 2 are literally on fire. My first favorite is a very small post office. Hardly anybody in there. I think they have less than 100 boxes. They have one lady working it and one lady in the back sorting. So it's a really small post office. I will hands down prefer to go to that post office over my second favorite, which is our hub. We have a sorting hub in our city, and it's a little farther away from me, so it's a little bit more of a drive, especially like in the winters and stuff. I literally, from my job, I could walk across the street to my favorite post office. So I'm not a huge fan of driving in inclement weather, so that's my favorite one, and I adjusted my shipping so that I can hit that post office more frequently, and if not just completely use my favorite post office. So I guess that's a luxury that I know a lot of people don't have, but I also don't have the luxury of pickup. So we live in not the best, not the worst, but our mail carrier has refused to do pickups. So if I call and schedule a pickup, he will not pick up when he picks up our actual mail. And I've had several occasions where my actual mail did not get picked up, so it was easier for me to just run it to the post office and pick it up. I don't know why when they first said they weren't doing it, they cited staffing issues. They do not drive full-size vehicles in my neighborhood. They drive the smaller, I don't want to call them golf carts, but they drive like the little cars, in my area, so I don't know if that's an issue with that. So they couldn't do that many pickups if they had to do pickups. But I don't have that luxury of scheduling a pickup, which is fine. I wouldn't feel safe leaving my items outside while I wasn't at home anyway. And if I'm at home, then I can just drive them and pick them up. Plus, my 12-year-old is old enough that he can run them into the post office for me, in which he does a lot. Because again, in our area, my favorite post office just has a shelf that you can put them on, and they'll scan them in. And they're usually good about scanning in. If I drop them off, they'll scan them in within 30 minutes. I'm not worried about that. In our other post office, my second favorite, has a drawer. Unfortunately, with that one, that's kind of pissing me off a little bit, is they won't scan them in anymore if you have prepaid packages. I guess we're taking up too much of the line. This, again, it's the hub, so it's a really busy post office. We have to scan them in at the kiosk and dump them into a drawer. Past couple times I went there, though, the drawer has been stuck shut. So if it's too full, it gets stuck shut, and I've had to go get my items scanned in, and they haven't given me any issue with it. So I don't know if I just, if they know the door's stuck, or if I just bypassed them, they wouldn't give me an issue anyway. But that's what the sign says, so we'll go from there. Thank you for watching my video. Please like and subscribe, and have a wonderful day.